Okay, I'm going to do our critique of the empty assignment and look through your photo story assignments and give a little bit of critique on those, and we can talk about those. Okay, Maria, I didn't see uh, either assignment in there, the empty or the photo story. So if I'm missing them, let me know where I can find them so I can do a critique for you. Look at Patrick's. This goes for everybody, but Patrick, I know I've told you a few times that on your photos, you need to label them somewhere what they are, because it seems like you've updated some of your shutter speed assignment, but you haven't told me which one are the final four that I'm supposed to grade. I also don't know which are your four for your empty assignment that you want me to critique. So you need to go through and do those, write them somewhere, and that goes for everybody. If you haven't done it, please do it for me. I'm pretty good when you're only uploading 4 to 6 per assignment. I can find them, but Patrick, you're uploading a lot, and I'm fine with that. But it's just hard for me to know which ones I'm supposed to really be looking at. Okay, so we'll look at Nikki's photos and her empty assignment. Okay, this one, I like how you filled the frame. I like this long rectangle and the crop that you did on that. Nice solid background. Our focus, of course, goes right to these things, and I like how you laid them out. For me, this one, the color seems very, very yellow, and I don't know if it is just these figurines that are very, very yellow, or if it's my monitor or the color on the camera or something. So look at that, see if it might work better in black and white. To be very, very picky about this one, since there's all this line of the crop not touching any of these, I wish that kind of went and mirrored on the bottom a little bit. I mean, that's really being nitpicky, but that'd be a nice addition to it. This one, I've done this type of photo for this assignment before, the empty swings. I like the depth of field. If this location is near you, try going back and maybe a different angle on it, because all this jungle gym back here doesn't really help what the emptiness that you're trying to convey with this. Maybe try it in black and white to get a little bit different feel for it, because I think like an empty playground is kind of eerie in itself. So maybe like a long vertical with these long chains in black and white. Also something you might want to try, since you know how to do a slow shutter speed, set your camera up somewhere where it's not going to move and try swinging one of the swings or a couple of the swings while one or a couple of them are stationary, so you get that kind of eeriness of some kid was there and he jumped off and now it's this empty playground. So something to play around with. This one, it's a good example of our next assignment, which is going to be to photograph a still life. And maybe after that assignment, you can go back and make this one a little bit better. I like, of course, we know the rule of thirds. Something that bothers me is this thing that's here. It almost looks like a piece of gum that somebody stuck to the table. So I don't know if maybe cropping that out, because it looks like this line leads right to that thing. The color on this one, again, it's a little iffy for me, and I don't know what it is. Let me know if I'm just seeing it differently than you are on your end, but it's kind of, this one's yellowish blue. Also, it looks like this is in focus, and this isn't quite as sharp. So just look at that, but nicely done. This one I think is my favorite of yours, just that kind of creepy parking lot. Always look at your ISO if you can set your camera up. We're getting a little bit of that grain into this image. I like the long horizontal crop again. I think that one's nicely done, and I don't know if you had to place the carts there or they were just like that, but I think that's a good find for that assignment. Okay. See, for instance, on this one, Nikki told me exactly what this one was. She replaced this one with one of the other photos, so I'm going to grade this one, not that other one. So if you're not doing that, please make sure you're doing that, so I am grading the appropriate things. Okay, so the ones that I looked through, I think this could be one of my favorite ones. Nice long crop again. That red just pops out really nicely. This one, we can see the high ISO, but it doesn't bother me as much on this one. I like that it kind of mirrors the red up here to this kind of grayish down here. I think that's a very good find. Good color on that one. This one, I like how you're beginning to set things up and not just try to walk around and find something. This will work well with the still life assignment that's coming up, and you might want to, after that, and we talk about it a little bit, might try to recreate this and just make it a step better. The only thing that really bothers me in this image is all this kind of bright light that's on here. I wish that wasn't there, and I don't even know if we necessarily need the wrapper. We know what a fortune cookie looks like, so maybe like an empty fortune cookie in black and white with lots of crumbs around it or something might look pretty interesting, but that's totally your call. Okay, this one, I like the table in the center. We always talk about rule of thirds, but I like it being in the center, the symmetry of the booth on both sides. I wish somehow this wasn't so bright, because my eyes go right up to this white spot here, not to what's kind of more interesting down here. Also, always look at your ISO and turn your ISO as low as you can, especially if there's a table right here where your camera is. You could turn your ISO to 100, put your timer on, take the photo, and your ISO is going to be low. It always depends on what you're doing with it. If you're looking at it on a computer, you're probably not going to notice it that much. The moment you print that 8x10, you're really going to pick up on it, and you're going to see all that grain in there. This one I like a lot. I love very contrasty black and whites. I don't see a lot of detail up here, and I don't know if we're supposed to. So if we're not, I don't know if it would look better if we cropped a little above this thing here. I like these lines from your first images of the water wheel and the resort. Is leaps and bounds better, and keep up the good work with this. I think that's really nicely done. Okay, this is going into your first year of marriage photo assignment. Like this image. I'm assuming this is your husband, and something you need to think about, of course, with this one, we're not including his face. And is that a theme that you're going to carry throughout it, or are there going to be ones showing your face or his face? So just keep that in the back of your mind when you're picking these photos and how you're producing them. I'm not sure if you strategically picked out the Superman shirt, but I think it works great with that kind of heart shape repeated all over, and then he's making the heart shape. Something though, always when you're photographing people, watch out at cropping at necks, at like your elbow or your knee or your waist, because people start to look like they're actually missing those body parts. So if you have to cut something off, cut at the shin, the thigh, the forearm, in the chest, or above the head or something like that. So I wonder if you cropped just at the bottom of the skin tone there, maybe then we don't look like we're actually cutting his head off, or that the person doesn't look like they're having a head. See how these look so much nicer when they're in the forearm? It looks like it's supposed to be that way. Good job on this one. Watch that ISO again. This one looks like you used a flash. Let's see if it shows. No, it doesn't show us if you did. It looks like it does. You can see all the bright light, and it starts to dissipate as it goes back. After this still life assignment, maybe you want to recreate this one without using a flash. It also, of course, says you use 1600 ISO. These cards aren't moving. Your camera doesn't have to move. Put your camera on 100 ISO, put it on a solid surface, and take this photo again. With the still life assignment, we're going to learn how to light things that aren't moving, so maybe you want to do this one in a little bit different way. Like how you filled the frame, lots of story going on here. Okay, this one I think is the weakest out of them just because it's way too showy for me. It's like, here's what's going to be talked about, here's what's happened, that's what it is. I think you could find in this image all sorts of different crops. Maybe you just crop in here and you get parts of names and certifies. Maybe you crop somewhere where you just get part of a sentence or part of marriage, Georgia, something there. I think that's the photo that you want. This is just, here's an announcement, here's what's going on. It's a little bit too showy for me. So good thought on it, but see if you can do it just in a little bit more artistic way. It's going to marry to those other couple photos that you just showed me. So if you don't have your photos uploaded, upload them as soon as possible so I can give them a critique if you would like me to. If you don't have your photo story photos uploaded and you want me to critique them, let me know. Also, that was an assignment to upload those, so that's going to be a 0 for that assignment if you didn't do it. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. I'm happy to help, and let me know about the upcoming assignment, the still life that will be assigned on Thursday. Thanks for everything.